Hello, hello. All right. So I'm going to show a couple of basic things in Substance here to help you out with getting textures onto your models. So first and foremost, I think the most basic thing would be to import an object. You go File, New. And if you already have an FBX file, which you're going to import, you're going to select it here, take it. So in this case, it'd be like this one. I already have it imported in the scene. The template should be the ASM PBR metallic roughness starter assets, this one specifically. And then the document resolution, Sias had used 2048 for a while in her tutorials, and I'm not sure why, but that's what I default to. And I don't know whether to recommend it or not. I'd say do it just because that's what she did. So you can import it. And once it's in the scene, I'll show you some techniques for projecting textures. So first and foremost, let's say you have a texture that has a base color. You might have a normal map made with it, like in this example, let's say like wood. So to import the textures, first and foremost, you want a fill layer. The fill layer is the only kind of layer that will actually allow you to project a texture onto the model. So I'm just going to name this, I guess, I don't know, test, because I'm just going to import a couple of different textures here to work with. So I think the ones I have right now are a base color, and I believe I have a normal map. So I'll get rid of the height. I'll get rid of the metal because those are irrelevant. I don't have maps for those. And I don't have a roughness map that I created, so I'll just adjust it manually. So I'll leave it up there so I can change the value. So what you'll do is File, Import Resources. This is how you import textures into the Substance scene. So I'm going to use these, which I have as a demo. I have a base color for bark. Let me see if I can open that. So I have a bark and I have a normal map for the bark. So I'm going to import both of these like this, open it. You'll see them here. You're going to choose texture for both. So they're read by Substance as textures, and import it to the project you're working in, and then import. You'll see them up here on the left. If you want to get rid of the filter that's only providing these textures, you can click this little X here. It'll get rid of the filter. But I recommend leaving it up as long as you're looking for them. You can just drag and drop them onto the attributes. So in this case, this would be the base color. So I'll put it on the base color. And then I need the normal map as well. So I'll go ahead and put the normal map on the normal map. And as you can see, it does apply it to the machine, but it's a little bit like, let's say hypothetically, you don't want the texture you just projected on the whole machine, which in this case would likely be the case. You would take your fill layer, which you just put your textures on. You'd right click, click add black mask. It'll disappear. And now you can actually choose where the textures are going to be by just clicking this polygon fill selection option. If you can't see my cursor, it's up here in the top left. I'm clicking this button. And using one of these functionalities, you can actually choose which face you put the texture on. I think this is UVs, so this will place it on just the full UV sets. So in this case, it's placing it on this side UV. This would be the whole object. So basically every object, this would be object fill. So obviously that fills all of that. And then you have specific faces. So you can choose which face you want them on, depending on how the model was UV unwrapped. Yeah, that's how you can apply specific textures on specific things. So I guess I'll just leave that there for now. I think one more important element is these settings right here. Just to clarify, if you want to switch between the texture settings, which would be these, and your ability to choose which faces you're on, you have to choose either the black mask on the right here or the layer picture on the left, and that'll switch between the options. So I'm gonna change specifically this texture. I want to adjust it. So the rotation goes without saying. It rotates how the texture is projected on that specific part of the UV. The offset changes where it's placed, so that's horizontal and this is vertical. And then the tiling changes how much of it is being placed on it, basically. So if you turn up the tiling, you see how it projects more or less of it. So I'll just do like 2, I guess, in this case. And like, again, let's say like the roughness is too high. I might be able to turn it, I think up. Up is to turn it down, and down is to turn it up. It's a little bit weird, but you can kind of see how that works. This is all the way down and this is all the way up. So I'll just use, I don't know, make it a little wet. So that's how you import textures, base colors with normal maps and stuff and project them onto your models. So let's just say hypothetically, you have, like in my case, an arcade machine, and you want to just place like a single texture on the side. So I don't think you have any machines, but I'll do that process just real quick. So let's say side texture, and I'm going to do just a color and a roughness. I don't have a normal map or anything. I'm just applying a single texture. This is okay. You can do that. I'm going to do file, import resources, and I have a texture here. I'm going to actually import both just to demonstrate something. Again, same process. I set these to texture and I import them to my project. Import. Again, it filters it by the ones you've just imported. I'm going to put this on the base color, and obviously it projects over everything, which I don't want. So I'm going to add the black mask. I'm going to UV. I'm going to put it on the side right here. It's pretty clear that the design isn't being projected on the side all that well. So we're going to turn the tiling up a little bit. Let's do 1.5. And let's see if we can adjust the offset a little bit. Just kind of like this. And you can do this however you want. It doesn't really matter how you project it, as long as your textures are being placed on the model however you deem appropriate. So that's how you apply textures on the models. I think the only thing I want to show besides that is how to actually work with materials on models. So I'm just going to disable these. Now let's say you want to like put like a plastic on the joystick and you don't have a texture for it. In this case, you would take probably a material from within Substance and you would apply it. So let's say I got rid of that filter from up here. I go into the material selection list. I can type in something like plastic, and I have a library of things to choose from. Now, what I do usually whenever I'm applying materials is I make a folder and I put them in the folder so that I can organize them. So let's say joystick texture. Now this is a folder. It has no material attributes or anything. Let's say I want plastic thermoformed. I can drag and drop it into my folder, and it's once again, it's going to apply to the whole machine, which you might not want in some cases. So you'd right click the actual material, add black mask, and do the same thing, polygon fill, and put it only on what you want. So I have UV selection on, so I'm just applying it to the UVs I want on this joystick. So I'm going to go and select the texture again. That's it applied. Now, let's say I guess the default material isn't exactly what you want, which is pretty much almost always the case. You might need to change the color, or you might need to adjust certain things on it. You can actually pop open the material folder that you just put into your manually created folder, and you have some options. Like this is the brighten curvature edges of it. I'm not sure exactly what that's doing for the plastic, but it does something clearly. So you might want to modify that if you want to, or you can go back down to like the base color texture. In this case, that would just be the plastic, and you can go down into the settings and change the color of these things. Pretty much everything in these pre-made material templates are adjustable. You can change the colors, you can change the values of the height, normal maps, rough maps, all of that stuff. So feel free to experiment with that however you want, depending on what you need. You can opt to either import all your textures on your own and never use an inbuilt material, or you can use all materials and never import a texture. But I think that covers pretty much all grounds. Let's say you're done, you have everything you want. You can file, export textures, make sure in Lambert, well, I guess in your case it might be an AI standard or a Lambert, I'm not sure which one, but it'll be a material name. Only enable the maps that you want to export. So in this case, let's just say I have a base color. I would definitely want a roughness map. I don't think I want metallic. If you have trouble seeing what it is, you can hover over it. I do want a normal. So we have base color, roughness, normal. I don't want height, and I don't really want a emissive, so we'll turn those off. So we're only taking the color, roughness, and normal map. In the output templates, I'm going to select Arnold AI standard because that's the template that we need. And just go ahead and get rid of the same ones you got rid of in the material. So we only need base color, we don't need metalness, we don't need height, and we don't need emissive. So just these three. Once you've selected all that and you have the appropriate maps, same deal. The size should be 2048, whatever you selected at the beginning when you were creating the project. And you want to make a directory for where you're saving the textures. So I guess in this case, I would just do it in the demo. And you can hit export. So what you'll see is all your textures look like this. Well, like this, these three specifically. I have a base color, normal, and a roughness map, and you can upload or send these to me. I don't really mind however you approach that, but I think I think that sums it up. If I'm missing anything, then just let me know. Send me a message and I'll record or just add something on and wrap that up. But yeah, that's about it.